Check. Please stand by, friends. We are going to be going live in just a minute. We're just going to wait for a few more people to jump on, hopefully, and sort through a couple of remaining issues here. Check, check, check. Hey, everybody. Alrighty. We're finally gonna do it live. I can only, I gotta go into this one. Alright. Hey, everybody. This is, alright. Okay. Alright. I'm just gonna check a couple of things here, and then we're gonna get into the big news updates. More than one. There is more than one breaking news update. That's right. Okay, I just have to make a little minor adjustment. Stand by. Stand by. Anybody watching? Leave a comment in the chat if somebody is watching this right now. All right. Okay, just stand by. I know that looks bad. That looks so bad. All right. Just stand by. All right. So, how's that look? Still got some fringe happening. Okay, that might be as good as we're going to be able to do. Okay, so I'm going to make one little change here. Now that I have proven that the audio is good, I'm going to change where I'm monitoring from. There we go. That sounds a lot better for me anyway. Oh, I still have a little bit of fringe. Fringe is over here. Stand by. Somebody say hi. Say hi if you're watching. Okay. Just going to try to tweak the chroma key just a tiny bit. If you don't mind, I'm going to try tweaking the chroma key a little bit. Let's get rid of the similarity. And I have discovered a basic way to do this. So that's the first one. And now all right, we're getting close. We are getting close, friends. We're getting close. Whoa. That's all wrong. That's all wrong. Oh, how did I get... Let's try that again. Anybody out there? Anybody watching? Anybody watching? Say something in the chat while I fiddle with the knobs a little bit here. While I fiddle with the knobs. Okay, that one's pretty good. How's the fringing? Not bad. Now, let's go over to this one. And maybe just need a tiny bit of this one. Okay, I think that is pretty good. Okay. I know I'm fussy trying to get the details right, friends. All right. Okay, that looks good. How you doing, everybody? It is Bill Houston and the Bill Houston podcast. All righty. So we had trouble, as always, getting the stream going. We are now rolling. So what's the breaking news that we got? Well, we got a lot of breaking news. Breaking news update. Update. Breaking news update. This is big, friends. This is big. Okay, so let me just set this up. It's going to take me just a second to get you the breaking news on the screen. I need to pop that out and put it over there. Okay. And now okay, wait till you hear this. I've got several breaking news updates, friends. Several breaking news updates for you. That's right. Boy, for some reason, my finger is not really that splotchy. For some reason, I've noticed that on the... My finger doesn't look like that. It's not red with splotches. It just looks like an ordinary finger. I don't know why my camera looks like that. It's just weird. All right, friends. So... let me see. Where is the main composition? All right, let me set this up. I just have to do it like this first. And then... all right, we're getting close. We are getting close, baby. With the breaking news update. The breaking news update. All right, so let's move this at least over here somewhat. Okay. How many of you heard that that Bill O'Reilly thing. We're going to do it live. We're going to do it live. We're doing it live right now, friends. Okay. All right, so this is it, friends. Now I'm going to make this bigger so that we can try to read this. Okay, breaking news. This is breaking news item number 1. We've got several tonight, friends. We have several tonight. Let me still fiddling with things here. I'm going to make this nice and big so you can see it. Okay, friends, here's the first breaking news update. This just came in from Brian Brock. He's a geologist, and he lives, I think, in Franklin, and he was part of the Constitution Pipeline Resistance. He is part of, and from what we have right here, in response, this is Brian Brock. In response to an inquiry by the New Franklin Register, that's his local newspaper, concerning doubts expressed by Cabot Oil and Gas about the viability of the Constitution Pipeline project. I'm not really sure. Maybe that was an investor call, because I think the investor call just recently happened. Probably this is February, so it's probably fourth quarter 2019. Okay. That's what just happened. And so the press office at Williams Corporation, Williams is the pipeline company, right? That's the major partner. They're the ones that would be building the pipeline, and Cabot's the other major partner. Here's what they say. Williams, with support from its partners, Duke, Cabot, and AltaGas, has halted investment in the proposed Constitution project. While Constitution did receive positive outcomes in recent court proceedings and permit applications, the underlying risk-adjusted return for this greenfield pipeline project has diminished. Has diminished in such a way that further development is no longer supported. This is Williams. Breaking news, friends. It looks like, finally, the Constitution Pipeline is dead. The Constitution Pipeline looks to be, right now, dead. It looks to be dead. Here it is. The Constitution Pipeline is finally DEAD. The Constitution Pipeline is dead. That's what this looks like, friends. Unless, I don't know how this could be anything other than that. So we can continue reading. Since Constitution was announced in February 2012, the economics of natural gas have shifted from my forthcoming article in the NFR. This is Brian Brock talking. He says, however, the principal lessor of the transport capacity, Cabot Oil and Gas, was a bit more forthcoming, at least to institutional investors. In the third quarter earnings call of October 25, 2019, the first since FERC reversed itself, which actually, I believe, I'm not 100% sure what he's talking about there. Since first FERC reversed itself, I thought that was something that was bad for our side, but I'm not sure. Senior Vice President for Marketing Jeffrey Hutton stated that over the next few months, the partners would further evaluate the project with regard to, quote, further permitting and, quote, commercial aspects. Then the four would collectively decide on a path forward. CPC, Constitution Pipeline Company, has spent over $390 million. It's, over a third of $1 billion on preparations and permits to no result. Now, 8 years later, is it 8 years, 2012? Yeah, I think it was 2012 when it first was introduced. That is, early 2012. Now, 8 years on from the initial announcement, the current management may be reluctant to spend more until all legal issues concerning permitting are settled. Concerning commercial, the market for methane is in flux with the shift to renewables. During that same conference call, Chairman and CEO Dan Dinges discussed, quote, the ills of poor decisions to commit to transporting gas to foreign countries. Wow, that seems surprising that he's admitting that it sounds like he's admitting it was a poor decision. We have him on earlier investment calls talking about exports to Canada and exports via Cove Point. But as we've been watching in the news lately, the LNG market, both domestically and domestically, it's a different situation. But internationally, the LNG market just seems to be tanked. So there's a different use of the phrase LNG tank, right? The LNG market is tanked internationally. To commit to transporting gas to foreign countries. While CPC, Constitution Pipeline Company, has never identified who would be the ultimate consumer of the gas from Constitution, other than the belated allocation of a few tenths of a percent to Sydney Township, evidence pointed to export to Canada with a reversal of the Iroquois pipeline. I would agree with that. In addition to what Mr. Dingy said about export via Cove Point, also. Or it wasn't actually Mr. Dinges. I think it was Mr. Jeffrey Hutton on another investor call that said this. Although also Mr. Hutton discussed, quote, the advantages of opportunity to supply, quote, in-basin demand projects. In the last few years, Shell has begun construction of a huge gas-to-plastics plant in northwest Pennsylvania. In addition, gas-fired electric generator plants have been built throughout the Marcellus-Utica Basin. Yesterday, Williams had its fourth quarter conference call, fourth quarter 2019. While the transcript isn't out yet, an article in Natural Gas Intelligence states that the company took a $350 million impairment due to the Constitution Pipeline project, i.e., it wrote off the money it spent. It seems that CPC won't spend $700 million more to export gas when there is sufficient demand for the gas in Pennsylvania. It was STP, Stop the Pipeline, fighting CPC and FERC to a standstill that gave this time to happen, Brian. P.S. Given that the NFR is a seasonal publication, NFR, New Franklin Register, we've released the information to the local daily and weeklies. Presumably, they'll do their due diligence to confirm. Look at that. Look at that. So once again, if you are just tuning in to the live stream, the update is that it appears the Constitution Pipeline is finally DEAD. That's right. The Constitution Pipeline is finally dead. So that's the first big announcement. All right, so now that we made that little segment, I'm going to go check the chat. Let's see how everybody is doing. And hopefully we've got somebody watching. One watching now. I think that might be just me. So we're going to continue. Rolling. Try it this way to see if it updates. It's not updating. Okay. That's okay. So, one concurrent viewer. We're going to go into the next segment here, and I might just give you a little bit of this in the meantime. I'm going to prepare for the next segment, so just stand by. We are going to come right back. Okay, we're back, friends. So here's a question for you. Um, what do you think the I just came across one of these weird links when I was surfing the internet, and I saw this, and I was like, "Wow!" It surprised me, and I think that I'm fairly well informed in these things. So here's the question: When was the first scientific paper published that made the connection between atmospheric CO2 concentrations and climate change? So, do you think was it 1950? Was it before or after 1950? Do you think it could have been before 1950? Could it be before 1920? What about before 1900? It turns out that it's pretty amazing. It is actually April of 1896. That's when the first paper is, and we've got it right here. So here we go. Let me try to scale this so you can read it. Now, the explanation was, I'm going to zoom in on this side of it over here. The explanation that I read about this online was that that this is kind of archaic. That it was that in the old days, apparently, they used to call CO2 carbonic acid. That was apparently vogue at the time. Now, today, carbonic acid we're talking about something that has a different chemical makeup. But according to what I saw, that this was some kind of a, there are, if you read books about birds, bird identification, bird species identification, things like that, or fish species, over time and even at particular different locations, people will refer to these common birds as different things, like what we would call a house finch. People in rural Pennsylvania sometimes call a redpoll. So there's all kinds of regional variations. Apparently in 1896, CO2, what we now call CO2, was called carbonic acid. So this is the paper. It's a Nobel laureate named Svante Arrhenius. And here it is, April 1896. This is when it was published. And this describes his paper was first to quantify the Arrhenius's paper is like a cover page. Okay, this photo was prepared by Robert Rode of Global Warming Art from original printed material that is now in the public domain. Arrhenius's paper is the first to quantify the contribution of carbon dioxide to the greenhouse effect, sections 1 to 4, and to speculate about whether variations in the atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide have contributed to the long-term variations in climate, section V. Throughout the paper, this is what I was talking about, throughout the paper, Arrhenius refers to carbon dioxide as carbonic acid in accordance with the convention at the time he was writing. Contrary to some misunderstandings, Arrhenius does not explicitly suggest in this paper that burning of fossil fuels will cause global warming, though it is clear that he is aware that fossil fuels are potentially a significant source of carbon dioxide, page 270, and he does explicitly suggest this outcome later in the work. And here is the shot of the original paper. And I have to change this a little bit. Sorry. Bear with me. Bear with me. There's a bear with me. Oh, sorry. All right, so this is the paper. The London, Edinburgh, and Dublin Philosophical Magazine of Journal and Science, 5th series, April 1896. And it says that it is on the influence of carbonic acid in the air upon the temperature of the ground by Professor Svante Arrhenius. And I'm going to leave a link to the paper, and I think I actually already shared this out. Let me just double check really quick and see if I have indeed shared it out. We have another watcher. There's Valdi. Hi, Valdi. Weederpass. We are just talking about right now the first paper that I've been able to locate as to the first paper where global warming as a result of atmospheric CO2 was first described. And it's remarkably April of 1896. So once I get this video published, I'm going to, there it is. So if you just go to, it's already been shared out on the NIRAD page. So if you just go to New York Residents Against Drilling or just plain old NIRAD on Facebook, you'll find a link to it. But I am going to link to the article. I'm going to add a link to the live stream right now as I am talking to you and see if I can edit this. Let's see. Public, breaking news. Oh, okay. First link on atmospheric CO2. Okay. There we go. So I just added a link to that. That's now in the description underneath the video. So I just thought that that was kind of amazing that this has been known about for quite a long time. Okay, this has really been known about for a long, long time about the atmospheric effects of climate. And if we locate, let me just see if I have this really quick. This guy, this petroleum engineer or petroleum geologist that worked for Exxon back in 1981. There was a couple of papers. There was one, I think, in the 70s, like 78 or 79, and then there was another one in the early 1980s, and I don't seem to have that available really quick, so I can't show it to you. But once again, I'm going to put a link in the show notes. Maybe I can find it online. That's what I'll do. Just bear with me 1 second. And oops. Valdi, did you hear that the Constitution pipeline is dead? DOA. I don't know when you tuned in, but it looks like that the Constitution pipeline is finally dead. Just did the same thing twice. Try this again. So that's some exciting news. That is really some exciting news. All right. Now I'm going to look for okay, I'm looking for, there's one particular, here it is. This is amazing. Wait until you see this chart because of its scary historical accuracy. All right, so I got to bring this over here. All right, is that in the shot? Oh, go away. How do I get rid of this? All right, so this is from The Guardian. And I have to change this. Stand by. Bear with me. Uh-oh. Let's get rid of this. Okay. So this is, we haven't gotten to the really big news yet. I mean, Constitution Pipeline is very big news. And that just came in before the show, before I did my live stream. So, but there is a story that is as big. I don't know if it's as big. It probably, in terms of financial impact, we can't really say it's as big. Now look at this. So this was a chart that Edwin Black came up with in in 1982. For example, Exxon predicted that by about 2060, CO2 levels would reach around 560 parts per million. Let me just do this. Push that off the screen. All right, 560 parts per million, double the pre-industrial level, and that would push the planet's average temperature up by about 2 degrees C over the then current levels, even more compared to pre-industrial levels. Here's the chart that he published. So, once again, this came out in 1982. There it is, 1982. And here's what he predicted, right? It was here's 1980, so 1982. He was down here somewhere, and he said, what's the year now? 2020, right? 2020. Let's go to here's 2020, and let's go up here, and where are we on the CO2? Most possible temperature increase, 1.2. Guess what? That's about where we're at right now. And over here, parts per million, about 400. It's like 400, 420. That's where we are. This guy's prediction was uncanny. How do you say that? Uncannily? Is that a word? Uncannily? This guy's prediction in 1982 was uncannily accurate. So this is a chart. If you know any climate change deniers, if you're on the internet and you know of anybody, you ever like meet these people online? Let me get rid of my plasma ball. All right. When you talk to these people online, and some of them are really arrogant, and some of them are just paid shills for the oil and gas industry, and then some of them are, these alternative bloggers and like YouTubers, like James Corbett, and like what are some of the other ones that are climate change deniers? Almost all of them, like Luke Rudkowski, and I'm just trying to think of some of the other ones beside James Corbett's one of the most famous ones. Oh, Truth Stream Media, Melissa and Aaron Dykes. Really a big fan of their work. They're climate change deniers. So many of these indie media people are climate change deniers. That's really weird because, in my opinion, the science of climate change is very simple. It's very rational. It's fairly easy to understand. And there is such overwhelming data now that it's real. It's hard for me to imagine anybody that is denying this right now. So if you know of any of these people, you probably do. If you're online and you're on social media, you've met these people that are these rabid climate change deniers. Just show them this. Show them this chart. You can look it up. Uh-oh, I'm getting a little carried away with my pointing here. Go look this up. You can just, like you saw it. I looked up, I just Googled, 1984. It's a Guardian article, Shell and Exxon's secret 1980 climate change warnings. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to put this in the show notes, in the links down below as I am speaking with you right now. And that's, again, the wrong one. I'm going to kill that one because that's not what I wanted. And, all right, so I'm just going to find the show notes, and then I'm going to check. Oh, I see, Valdi. I see you writing some stuff. I'm going to get to you in 1 second. I just want to add the link to this article. I don't know why that didn't. Anyway, I don't seem to be able to. I will add a link to this article in the show notes when I finally publish. I'm going to chop these up into separate segments, so I will add a link to this. Okay, let's see what's in the chat. Hi, Bill. I can see and hear you. Yes, I'm watching. It looks good enough. Hi. All right, Valdi. Hello. It's great to have somebody out there watching. Okay, so we already told you that the Constitution pipeline is DOA. We just threw in this one just now, just a little quick teaser talking about this paper, which was from pre-1900. It was a 19th century paper that first seemed to describe the effects of concentrations of CO2 on atmospheric climate change. Pretty remarkable that it's been known for that long of a time. Okay, so I have another very, very breaking story, and it's this story will be of interest to anybody. I know, Valdi, you are interested in these Type 4 CNG high capacity, ultra high pressure carbon fiber Type 4. I already said Type 4 CNG virtual pipeline tube trailers. Ultra high pressure bulk haul Type 4 CNG virtual pipeline tube trailers. I like to call them bomb trucks. I have an amazing story coming up. I am just going to go away for 1 second and set up my little stack here, and I'm going to come right back. So in the meantime, let's see, is the music still there? Okay, I am going to come right back. So just stand by. Okay, friends, I'm back, and once again, I'm going to tease this out. Okay, I have a really big story coming up, but here's another just quick piece of news here. So, my buddy Mark Bacon lives on the most contaminated property in the village of Endicott from the old IBM. They call it an IBM chemical spill. I think actually Jim Emke told me the story of this recently, and he said that he was the one that actually came up with the language where they decided to call it a toxic plume. It's a toxic plume because he was telling me that he didn't really like the language of calling it a spill. He and actually, I believe it was Steve Craig. Was Steve Craig the news director then? I think he was. So every year, so there's this massive remediation system that's installed in the village of Endicott that runs roughly from um, where the complex is, down close to the river, like a block from the river. And that's been in place for, it started really being built, I would say, mid 2000s, maybe about 2005. And it was probably about 2002 when I believe they started getting the air systems. Many of the homes in Endicott have those air systems in the basement, the sub-slab ventilation system. Um, every year, property owners in the village of Endicott used to get an update from IBM talking about the update, the just what's going on with the spill. There hasn't been one for 2 years. So my buddy Mark Bacon, he starts asking questions. He gets on Bob Joseph, and he starts talking to Bob Joseph about the fact that there hasn't been one of these updates for 2 years. Mark also, he always has his eyes open. So Mark called me one day. This was late last year, and he said, "Bill, you got to get over here." And I'm like, "Over where?" And he told me where to go. It's was approximately at the where the big Methodist church is at the corner of McKinley and Monroe there. There was a couple of these big metal boxes set up. Those are pumping stations, and they were part of the remediation system. And Mark called me one day. I think this was around September. This is from my recollection. I have the date. I have photographs that I took and video of that, making a little mini documentary about the IBM spill. And Mark says they're pulling the pipes up. And I also saw this. What's the name of the company that does that? It's called Groundwater Science, I think, is the name of the company that IBM hired to basically build and maintain the remediation system here. And there's one street there. I'm thinking, is it Garfield? There's a church that's north of Monroe. I think it's Garfield Street that's right there. This kind of a brown stucco church on the corner. And I saw them, digging up, and I, just curious, walked over and talked to them. I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" He goes, "Well, we're capping off these pipes because the system's shut down." And I'm like, "What?" Because we've never been told the system's been shut down. It's been at least a year, I think, since the last time IBM has been here with any updates. Let me just look really quick because I know that. Because Vera Scroggins has has it on her channel, all of the latest meetings that I did not attend. So March 2019. So March of, basically a year ago. 1 year ago was the last time there was a meeting, and as far as and I watched this meeting, and they didn't have any. There was no discussions at that time about removing the systems, removing the remediation system. Okay, so let me show you one thing here. All right, so let's put this over here. And now, plasma ball, display capture, right. Okay, so during this meeting, they presented, this was the shape of the spill this was the shape of the spill in August of 2018. This is August of 2018 right here, okay? August of 2018. Now, let me show you something. Let me turn this one off. This is from this flyer that was residents in the village just received today. So this is what they say it looks like right now. Let's see if you can see this. That's pretty good. So this is how it looked in 2004, and this is how it looks today in, well, it says 2019. So 1 year after that one, sorry, the green is disappearing with my chroma key. So 1 year after this one, right? 1 year after this one. Now they're saying it looks like this. And notice what it says right here. Can you read that? It says former plume area. Former plume area. It's not a plume area anymore. It's not a plume anymore. It was my understanding that before they could reclassify this, this site, and I think that's, I always get confused with these numbers. I think it's a 2 now, which means, urgent action is needed to avoid public health concerns, and that's what it's been for years. And they're trying to get it back to a 4. So my understanding from Alex, I don't know how to say his name, Alex. Anyway, Alex. I'm not going to try to butcher his name. He's got like an Eastern European name. Valdi, you could probably tell me how to pronounce this guy's name right. It's like Alex Cervenovich, something like that. Anyway, Alex said the procedure is going to be like this. Alex said that what they're going to do is they're going to shut down these pumps for a while and watch for bounce back. And he said that as long as the systems are in place, and he said these things are going to be running for another 10 years probably, there's going to be these remediation systems running, that it's not going to be reclassified. Or they might reclassify it, but the systems are going to still be in place. The reclassification, it means that there's no new action that needs to be done, that the remediation system that's in place is doing its job. They are removing the remediation system now, and they have over the past, I would say, 4 to 6 months. And they haven't reclassified the site. This is not how I'm going to be doing a much more in-depth. This just came out today. This was just mailed to Village of Endicott residents today. So I just wanted to mention this quickly to you. And we've got a new program director at IBM. His name is Michael J. Kamenek. So this is brand new. This is hot off the presses. They're saying that it's a former spill area, and they're yanking the remediation systems out. And they're saying that this is going to be the last newsletter. This is February 2020. They're saying this is the last one. And they haven't been here in a year. They haven't told us what's going on. In fact, what's going on now seems to contradict what we were told earlier. So this is a brand new thing. I'm still reading. I just got this, so I haven't had time to fully digest it yet. I'm going to scan this and put it online so that everybody can see a copy of what this is. And I'm going to be looking up the clips of these these past meetings, and hopefully we're going to try to reconcile what's happening today, what's in here, versus what we're seeing with our own eyes, and that is that they are removing these remediation systems in Endicott. Once again, friends, I work in the public interest. I haven't been saying this enough tonight. I'm going to add this when I make separate clips. But Where is display capture? Right. I'm going to put the plasma ball back. And I'm just going to... So, for the last 10 years, I have worked in the public interest, and I've done a lot of work around fracking and pipelines and compressor stations and storage facilities. I've done video work. I've done technical research. These ultra-high pressure CNG bomb trucks, and we got a big story coming up on this one. I work in the public interest. I try to protect clean air and clean water, and also public safety. The bomb trucks really is more of a public safety issue. So if you want to see the kind of work that I've been involved with over the past 10 years, just go to your favorite search engine and type in Bill Houston's fracking resume, and you will see the kind of things that I've been doing with my life for the past 10 years. Now I'm doing this work full time. So I really rely on donations and grants. And so I have quite a few donors. Remarkably, I have quite a few people that have given me money and support, financial and other kinds of support too. So I am very, very grateful to all of you out there who are my friends and supporters, both financially and just moral support. So if you appreciate my work and you're so moved and this is not a burden for you, I appreciate donations in any amount. tinyurl.com/donate to Bill Houston. Please donate in if you can. I just one of the things that I did just recently got some attention. It was some analysis having to do with the Iroquois pipeline, and I did get a couple of donations. I think I got 3 donations in. It was pretty significant, and I'm halfway. I've got my storage shed paid. I still have a couple of bills that I need to get paid, including my phone bill. My phone is close to getting shut off. I do have Google Voice now, so even if I lose my phone, I still have communication with the world. My internet is paid. So I've probably got around $150 worth of bills left this month that are unmet. So and my funding, I do have a part-time job, and my funding is in jeopardy. I don't know if I'm going to get into this right now, but that's a bit of a story coming that I might do coming up. I have to think this through, but. Donations are needed now, possibly more than ever. So I really appreciate the support. If it is within your power, I really appreciate donations in any amount. So anybody that's watching this on the playback, you can visit my donate link. The easiest way to donate is by going to tinyurl.com/donate to Bill Houston. And you know what I'm going to do right now? If you can just stand by, let's copy and I paste a duplicate. Here's the duplicate. And instead of this, I'm going to say, just make it like that. All right. For the people that don't do PayPal, and that is a lot of people, apparently. A lot of people don't do PayPal. This is US. ES. All right. I'm getting there. We're doing it live, folks. We are doing it live. All right. So, now how do I do? Just got to do one more thing. How do I make it? Oh boy, where is that? Okay. So if you don't do PayPal and you prefer snail mail, so this is the address that you can send checks or money orders. Please don't send me donations via Facebook or any other kind of way. I don't, the only two ways that I'm using right now is PayPal and snail mail. So William Houston, P.O. Box 22, Endicott, New York, 13761. There is my snail mail address. So God bless you. If you can help me, uh, any amount is helpful. So appreciate all the support. I really have I've got some beyond my basic living expenses. I have some maintenance expenses that I have to go through right now. Like I have a UPS unit that has a bad battery, so it's like studio things. So really, I'm still trying to raise probably around $200 for this month. That would be fabulous. So I know that's not a lot of money to some people. When I used to be a big computer consultant, and I made lots of money, and I gave away lots of money too. So I know it's possible for some people if you have the means. All right, that's enough of begging right now. I'm going to go away right now again, and I'm going to prepare for the final big story. So I am going to be right back and give you the really big story. There might be a couple of more stories, but I'm not going to hold off anymore. I'm going to give the really big update, besides the Constitution pipeline being dead, coming up in about, let's say, about 5 minutes. Hi, friends. I'm still setting up for the next segment, and so please just stand by a couple more minutes, and we're going to be hopefully back in probably about 5 minutes from now. I'm still setting up. I'll have the next segment ready for you, and it's pretty. If you're interested in the issue of these ultra high pressure CNG, compressed natural gas, carbon fiber composite tube trailers, aka virtual pipelines. You're going to be interested in this next segment, friends. It's some really big news, so stand by. Okay, friends, welcome to the next segment. I'm going to keep going. I don't know how long I'm going to have listeners, but I've got a couple of additional segments coming up. There's been a lot of stuff happening in the news that I want to bring you up to date on. So let me just do one little thing here. I'm such a perfectionist with making things, trying to make things look good. Um, all right, so what I want to do, I just want to shrink this up a little bit. All right, friends, so this is it. This is this is what I consider to be big news. The Constitution pipeline. It's going to be tough to top that the Constitution pipeline is dead. But this right here is pretty big too, because this is something I've been working on for about the last 3 years. These new Type 4 CNG high, uh, they're ultra high pressure. They're up to 4,500 psi. They're a new kind of tractor trailer configuration, and so I'm going to actually try to bring up. I'm going to try to bring up a view of one of these things, so that yeah, stand by 1 second. I just all right, stand by. I'm just gonna blab at you, and so Valdi's still there. It looks like we got 3 concurrent viewers. Say hi in the chat if you are just tuning in to the stream, and I just need to look for one thing here, and I'm looking for just a little graphic that I can drop in here. But while I'm streaming, my computer gets really bogged down, so things go really slow. So let's do. All right, just stand by, and I'm gonna find. Okay, I don't have a PNG, but I do have a JPEG. That's the graphic that I want. Now I just gotta figure out how to get it loaded. Get it loaded. Get it loaded. And this. We're doing it live, friends, just like Bill O'Reilly said. Be sure to hit like. And if you're not already subscribed to the Bill Houston podcast, be sure to click the subscribe button and also click the little bell. And you might want to ask for all notifications. I don't do live streams all that much. But if you select there we go. Wait, that's a different. Turn it on. There we go. Just to show you what it is that we're talking about here. Just to show you what it is. So alrighty. Okay, so So we've got two different manufacturers of these trucks. This one right here is called a Quantum Fuel Systems. It's a VP series. And this one over here is the Hexagon Composites Type 4. It's a Titan 4, sorry. Hexagon Composites Titan 4. This was really the first one. This was permitted back. It was issued a special permit back in 2012. This one wasn't approved until late 2017. But that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about these ultra high pressure CNG carbon fiber composite virtual pipeline tube trailers. We just got word today that there is going to be an investigation by the New York, not an investigation. The New York Attorney General wrote a letter to PHMSA, USDOT, the Pipelines and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration, and asked them to do an investigation into the number of rollovers, the rollover accidents that these trucks have been encountering. And that is something that I'm ecstatic about, because this is something that I and my buddy Craig Stevens have worked on. We've had a lot of help, especially from Nicole Dillingham and Ellen Pope over at Otsego 2000, people like Keith Shue, Ron Barton, retired New York State Department of Transportation commercial inspector. Ron Barton has been tremendously helpful toward this, and he's been working on writing to PHMSA and looking for an enforcement action, because according to Ron, whenever these things leak in a crash, they are in violation of their special permit. And both of these manufacturers, both of these different trailer types, have leaked in rollover crashes. And they also they're very prone to rollover crashes because these vehicles are very top heavy. The trailers are very heavy. Even when they're unloaded, they still are extremely heavy, and the center of mass is elevated because of how the tanks are designed and how they're allocated in the trailer. These Quantums are especially top heavy, and so we just got this letter today. Okay, let me just change the frame a little bit. Change the framing. Get rid of the breaking news update. I'll leave that up, and let's see if I can. We'll leave that up while we review this. So this is a letter that we got today from the New York State Office of the Attorney General, and I'm going to read to you what this says. All right, let me just check something really quick. I want to see how we are doing. We have three people that are watching concurrently. That's nice. All right, so, and more of we'll probably watch on the replay. Mr. Howard Elliott, Administrator, Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration, U.S. Department of Transportation, regarding the request for investigation of CNG trucking rollover incidents. Dear Administrator Elliott, on behalf of the New York State Attorney General, Letitia James, we write to request that the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration, PHMSA, investigate a series of 8 incidents involving the transportation of compressed natural gas by truck that have occurred in New York and bordering states. As detailed further in the attachment to this letter, 2 rollover crashes of trucks carrying CNG occurred in the fall of 2019, each fatal to the driver, and each resulting in the unintended release of natural gas to the environment, prompting mass evacuations, school and event cancellations, and lengthy road closures. Based on our review of available records, it appears that a total of 8 rollover crashes of trucks authorized to carry CNG have occurred in New York and bordering states since 2017, and that in 5 of those rollovers, natural gas was unintentionally released to the environment because of the damage to the cylinders containing the CNG. This is amazing, folks. This is so much work has gone into this. Just thousands of hours of research on my part. Craig Stevens has probably put almost as much into it. Ron Barton has been working behind the scenes. Hats off to Vera Scroggins, who really was the first person that really made me aware of these vehicles. But even the people from Protect Mannheim, that was going back to when was that, 2013 maybe? The Protect Mannheim group, when that first, the Mannheim compressor, the Mannheim filling station was first installed. Keith Shue and Helen and David Slotgy, and there's quite a few of the local residents up there that were fighting this thing, and it was ultimately permitted despite a lot of concerns for the residents. But I'm very, very thrilled to see the New York State Attorney General write a letter to PHMSA and saying, what the heck is going on with these? This is terrific. This is huge news, okay? So let's continue. It is our understanding that these incidents entailed use of non-DOT specification cylinders and semi-trailer frameworks that were approved for transport of CNG pursuant to special permits issued by PHMSA. Due to the frequency and seriousness of the rollover incidents that have occurred in New York and bordering states, we request that you initiate a formal investigation pursuant to your authority under 49 U.S.C. Section 512A and C of all persons, parties, and equipment associated with these incidents. In addition, we request that you direct staff to perform a new comprehensive technical safety evaluation and safety profile evaluation of all persons, parties, and equipment associated with these incidents. In particular, we would like to ask that these evaluations include an updated assessment of the operational controls specified in the special permits, such as the specifications for framing and semi-trailers used in the shipment of CNG cylinders, to determine whether these controls provide a safety level at least equal to the safety level required under federal hazardous materials law. I am shocked. I am so shocked, and I am ecstatic by this. We are, I don't want to say what's close. I don't want to speculate what's close, but I will tell you that there's a lot of work behind the scenes on getting these trucks off the road, and from a couple of different vectors. One is I know that there's 2 OSHA complaints open with XNG, so they've got pressure on them right now from OSHA, and there's multiple inquiries into the into USDOT and PHMSA, and through different legislators. I don't know how much of this I can really talk about, but there is a lot. We are expecting enforcement actions upon at least one of these operators, XNG, happening pretty soon. If it hasn't happened already, at least from OSHA, having to do with lacking of safety equipment and putting the drivers of these vehicles in harm's way unnecessarily. I should say it like that. So this is incredible. Letter from the New York State Attorney General. I am so happy. Let's read the rest of this. We respectfully request that PHMSA undertake these investigations and reevaluations as expeditiously, that's the word, expeditiously as possible, to inform whether any modifications, suspension, or termination of the special permits are warranted pursuant to 49 CFR Section 107.121 or other applicable regulation, and to ensure that our residents are protected against further risks to life, property, and the environment. Damn, this is so good. If for some reason PHMSA declines to undertake these actions, we would respectfully request a formal response to our office with your reasoned explanation. If you would like to discuss this matter, please contact Assistant Attorney General Lisa Kwong. Respectfully, Lemuel M. Shrolovich. Lemuel Shrolovich, Bureau Chief, Environmental Protection. Wow. With a CC going to the New York State Department of Transportation and the New York Department of Homeland Security. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. We have been working on this for so long, friends. I am just so happy to read this. Now, here's another thing that made me happy. Wait till you see this, okay? So coming up, we have, see this chart? Attachment to February 10. So that was just what, 10 days ago. This was sent by the Attorney General. I just found out about it today. Please find below additional information pertaining to the reported truck rollover incidents. Let me just get rid of the truck picture right now, because don't really need that, and it doesn't really help, does it? Bring that down. Oop, that's the wrong one. There we go. Okay. So, look at this. 2/21/17 Forest Lake. There was an injury to the driver, unintended release of gas. Yes. 7/17 Forest Lake, XNG. Injury or fatality. There was an injury. I know for a fact that there was an injury here. Hartwick, New York, XNG injury. Bethlehem, New York, Exeter, New York. Yes, there was release of gas. Central Bridge. That was XNG. I'm sorry, that was NG Advantage, because the driver, the shipping company, the hauling company, the trucking company is called CAG, Keenan Advantage Group. Fenton, New York, XNG, fatality. Orange, Mass, there was a fatality. This is the data that I put together. This is my data. So to see this in this report, I am just thrilled and ecstatic. So this is going to PHMSA from the New York State Attorney General. It is our understanding that these incidents pertain to persons, parties, and or equipment operating pursuant to these special permits. So there's the two. There's the one from Quantum Fuel Systems, SP 16524, and there's the one from Hexagon Lincoln. Now, I understand from my friend Ron Barton that there's actually two for Hexagon Lincoln. That's news to me, but he found another one. So they're really this is the primary one that they're using for the CNG trucks is, how do I point to that one? So SP 14951. That's the main permit for Hexagon Lincoln. So that's it, friends. That is amazing. We've been working on this for so long, me and several of my colleagues. So to see the New York State Attorney General write a letter to PHMSA, the Federal or the Pipeline Hazardous Materials Safety Administration, PHMSA, to see the New York Attorney General write a letter to USDOT PHMSA and basically ask for an investigation and for an enforcement action. This is extremely huge, and I've put so much work into this. I'm thrilled to see it starting to pay off. So there is my big news for the evening. Now, there are a couple of additional news items. I'm going to check the chat really quick here, and let's just see if I just want to see if anybody has any thoughts on anything that's been going on so far. So, checking the chat now. Get your questions in. Get your questions in. I'm checking the chat right now. Okay, so you are talking about Exxon and Shell. Okay, that must have been from a little while ago. Valdi, I saw your segment at Constitution Pipeline. Yep. Exxon and Shell. Good, you're sharing it. It was 1959. Here's the link. I don't see the link in the chat, so sometimes YouTube doesn't. Sometimes posting links is not so easy. But you are talking about Teller. Dr. Edward Teller gave a talk to the American Petroleum Institute as the surprise keynote speech at their meeting to celebrate their 100 years. Oh, you say you had already heard about the Arrhenius paper, even though, yep, you were aware of that. Okay. So it's the Teller speech. Teller's speech warned about burning of fossil fuels causing global warming and the need to transition away from fossil fuels in coming decades. And that was 1959. Wow, that's incredible, Valley. Thanks for posting that. Okay, so you got a question about the Endicott thing. I kind of moved past that. I'm sorry I didn't see your question there. If you're still there, Valdi, I don't know if you're still there, but I'll just say that who is removing the systems? It's ultimately IBM. You're talking about Endicott, right? The remediation system for the toxic plume. Ultimately, it's IBM, but their contractor is called Groundwater Sciences, GSI, Groundwater Sciences. Let me just check really quick. Oh, I didn't want doing that. Let's go to groundwater. I'm just going to look this up really quick. Oh, GSC, Groundwater Sciences Corporation. That is the company that is removing the Endicott remediation, the chemical plume remediation systems. I don't know if it's all being pulled out, but significant parts of it are being removed. Okay, so that's it. I covered a couple of, most of the major stories that I have. I think I'm going to end this stream now, and I think I'm going to come back on a little bit later. I do have a couple of more things I want to discuss. So I'm going to end this stream, and I'll be back on with a different stream. So once again, friends, if you aren't subscribed already, please subscribe now to the show and give a thumbs up. Give a like to this video if you haven't already. And so, yep, I'm going to prepare a new segment and come back on. So this is the thing. If you subscribe and click the bell and say that you want all notifications, you'll either get an email or depending on how you get these notifications, you might get it on your phone. If you have an Android phone, you'll get like an alert coming to your Android phone whenever there is, whenever I post a new video or whenever I go live again. So be sure to, I just need to take a break, stretch my legs, get a drink of water. I'm going to be coming on a little bit later tonight. Once again, for anybody that's watching, I work in the public interest, and I rely upon donations and grants. So if it's within your means, I would appreciate donations in any amount. I'm still trying to raise. I raised a good chunk of money from another little analysis I did. It was actually in the banner. If you subscribe to the banner, the editor over there picked it up and republished my my analysis of the Iroquois pipeline, talking about the hydraulic pressure profile. So here's the question, okay? If you're curious, you can go look this up, and I will try to put a link in it below. In fact, I might do another segment specifically about the Iroquois pipeline. So here's the segments that I have coming up, okay? Iroquois pipeline. I'm also going to do a segment about the LNG. I'm going to talk about some LNG issues coming up. And if you are a kind of person that you're like me, that you like to find out about this stuff, I have prepared an information packet all about LNG by rail. So if you want to get a jump start, just read a few documents and get a jump start and learn all of the issues involved in shipping LNG by rail. You're going to want to tune in to the next segment I'm going to have coming up. Once again, I'm going to end this stream and I'm going to start a new stream a little bit later. And we'll get whoever jumps on. So we're going to do the LNG segment, and we might even do another segment or two in addition to that later on. So it's 11 o'clock. I'm probably going to be live streaming till about maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. Let's see, because this was a very eventful day. There was quite a few things that happened today. I'm trying to get the word out as fast as I can, and just give you some updates and let you know about some of the major news items of the day and areas of my research. So once again, if you are so moved, tinyurl.com/donate to Bill Houston, and if you don't do PayPal and you want to send a check or a money order, there's the address to send it to. Oh, it's over my finger. Oh, how can I do that? U.S. snail mail. Yes. It didn't work. Here we go. There it is. Okay. So, William Houston, P.O. Box 22, Endicott, New York, 13761. We will see you later. We'll see you later, friends. I'll give you a little music to close the show out with. Be sure to subscribe once again and click the bell, the notification bell, and ask for all notifications. And that way you will be sure to catch every new video and every time I go live. Over and out for now. We will see you soon, friends.